Pentacle 4, Chapter 13, Five of Cups. Carina looked up from her cell phone when she felt a warm body standing beside her, and she was expecting Bruno, but she jumped out of her skin when she saw an unfamiliar woman. The woman was wrapped in a leather jacket, and her hair was warm blonde brown, and the hue of it reminded Carina of dried autumn leaves. The maiden was also watching Bruno praying, and she froze on the spot when she saw Bruno approaching. Bruno too stopped when he recognized the woman. It was Patricia, his first girlfriend Patricia, the first and only woman he had ever fallen in love with, Patricia. The two hadn't seen each other since middle school. Still, that brown blonde hair was unmistakable, and Bruno walked up to Carina and he took her hand before walking away, and he wasn't in the mood to open apple scars, and he started walking fast with Carina struggling to keep up. "What are we running from?" asked Carina. "Ghosts," lied Bruno. "What? Where?" asked Carina, alarmed while looking about. In the darkness the shadows warped, and since she was already spooked, her fears amplified the fear that the unfamiliar darkness invoked in her. Carina picked up her pace to get out of the spooky cemetery, and with the darkness looming ever closer, she feared that she wasn't going to make it to the safety of the car by nightfall. And she heard behind her the crisp sound of crushed leaves, and there was something or someone following after them, and she wanted to look behind, but she was afraid of whatever was pursuing them. When they arrived to the car, Bruno turned on the ignition key, and due to the lower temperatures, the car stopped. Bruno turned on the key again, and the car refused to turn on. It was almost as if it had comedic timing. Carina narrowed her eyes while she looked into the darkness, and she saw a shade walking towards them, and when the car finally turned on, the lights blinded Patricia, and Bruno turned on the reverse as quickly as his trembling hands could manage before driving away. And as soon as Patricia was out of sight, Bruno breathed in a sigh of relief. Phew. "Did you see that woman?" asked Carina. "No," lied Bruno, and he added, laughing nervously. "Maybe it was a ghost. Ooh." "Not funny, Bruno," said Carina, shivering from the cold and from the fear. "Come now, Carina. If you did see a woman, it was probably a creature made of flesh and blood. There's no reason to be afraid of the living," said Bruno equanimously. "Yeah, you're right. The woman looked more afraid of us than we of her," said Carina, laughing nervously. And she added, "Do you think she was in trouble?" "I don't know. I didn't see anyone," lied Bruno. "If she was in trouble, she could have cried for help, don't you think?" I guess you're right," said Carina, agreeing with Bruno. The car's headlights didn't do much to pierce through the darkness, and Carina looked to the left, and then she looked to the right and behind. She was surrounded by darkness, and she pondered if Bruno knew the way, and after driving for half an hour, she tentatively dared to ask the obvious question. "Are we lost?" asked Carina. "I know where we're going," yelled Bruno, and checking his temper, he took a deep breath before saying, "Carina, I am sorry. Please, just have a little faith in me." He had taken the same path home hundreds of times. Bruno took a left, and after driving for half a mile, he frowned when he saw a roadblock. A truck had suffered an accident, and he hadn't planned for this eventuality. He doubled back before pausing the car, and he brought into his mind a mental picture of all the alternative paths home, and he began to drive at a snail's pace, and he squinted his eyes while he searched for a sign, alarm, or anything to orient himself. And in the end, he stopped at a local gas station, and while Bruno asked for directions, Carina began to regret all of her life's choices. "Are we lost?" asked Carina again. "Unfortunately, yes," said Bruno with a defeated tone in his voice. "But it's fine. The shopkeeper told me where we're at, and I know in which direction we should be going." "I knew we should have rented a car with a GPS," said Carina, folding her arms. "Does being right make you happy?" asked Bruno coldly. "No," said Carina, sinking into her seat. Bruno removed his coat and he placed it over Carina's shoulder, and he said, "If this is stressing you out, just close your eyes, and by the time you wake up, we're going to be in Rebecca's home." Carina closed her eyes, and she decided to have blind faith in her man, and just as she was starting to doze off, the car stopped abruptly, and Bruno, swallowing his pride, called Rebecca to ask her for help. "Rebecca," said Bruno. "Do you have any idea what time it is?" asked Rebecca, waking up. She looked at the clock, and she smiled when she noticed that it was only 8, and she had apparently fallen asleep while watching a kids' movie. "Rebecca, I am lost, and this place changed a lot over the last 6 months, and can you find me? Your car still has a GPS," asked Bruno. You are here? Asked Rebecca, sitting up. You are here. Surprise, said Bruno, laughing nervously. Do you see a street? Do you see any landmarks? Asked Rebecca, getting her car keys. Bruno drove a bit before saying, I see we are currently in Church Street by Jeanette Avenue. Rebecca said to her daughters, Uncle Bruno's coming over for a visit, but he got lost. Can you watch your sister for half an hour, Olivia? Okay, said Olivia. Just sit there watching the movie. Do not move anything, do not touch anything, alright, baby? Said Rebecca before departing. Rebecca punched in the information on her GPS, and she was released to see that Bruno was only a quarter-mile away. And she found his car parked on the side of the road where the headlights were blinking. And Bruno sighed with relief when he saw his sister's car, and he followed after her, and Carina sat up in order to take in the scenery, and try as she might, she couldn't see anything, and after 10 minutes that felt like an eternity. She saw a light over the horizon. That's a good place to leave it. Bye-bye and God bless.